All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black City Podcast. Damn it, David. Fuck. No tagline necessary, apparently. I'm your host, Steven, and with me
I'm the
today,
co-host.
my co-host, we have David. What's going on, David? Oh shit.
What's up, everyone?
No way
I'm
he just
also the soundboard man.
no way he just fucking P&G popped in. So today, I know we don't have a tagline, but Black City Pod is hoping to bring you all the latest news on things that bring interest to us. I mean, that would mainly be around video games and the TCG world, the entirety of it, because we've uh we've gone through some
We
rabbit holes
dabble.
on some random shit.
Yeah, we definitely dabble. Yeah, we will talk about the rabbit holes we have gone down even this past week.
Man,
There's a lot of good games out there for people who are interested.
a lot of cheap games too. Man, if I got $5 and need a game to play, talk to me. I got some
Is it
game.
hit us up if you are interested. Like there are a lot of cheap quality games nowadays. It's not just the big three anymore.
That's right. It may only be 10 of y'all in the entire country, but it's a good time. It's a good time. But we're not talking about TCGs first. I think not in particular reason why we started the show, but the Nintendo Direct dropped about, I'd say at the time it's recording, about a week ago, a couple days ago.
Yeah, a little over a week.
Yeah.
9 days, I think. 9, 10.
Hey, the URL hooking me up real quick. Yep, 9 days ago. So we're gonna kind of go through that. There's a lot of, like, honestly, we usually wouldn't talk about these, and I skipped this initially because I'm not like here to watch Nintendo Directs anymore. As a hobo gamer, I'm not trying to buy stuff, but they came out with a lot of hits that weren't even like leaked or announced prior to it. So
Yeah, this is definitely the first solid direct in a while. To Steven's point, a lot of directs that we've watched, there's maybe like one mid announcement. The rest of them are like, we knew you were making this, or this is just like a port slash quote unquote remaster.
yep.
RIP BDSP.
Or we just dump all the indie games into our Direct and claim it as ours because you already bought the Switch. So
Or the ports from like the era that the Wii U can hang with.
that's damn, ain't that the truth? Speaking of old
Speaking
ass,
of,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, just speaking of like hits, I do want to just jump right in to the big hitter for me in this direct, the Super Mario RPG graphical update, essentially
You know,
remaster. Some would say.
remaster. Could we say that?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah. I'm super excited for this. Like, no cap on that. Like, it's. I'm super excited for this because I'm just thinking of all of the weird shit that this game threw when it came out. Like, they have to hold on to that, right? They can't water down Mario in this game. That's my big thing.
yeah. Even the like boss character designs and stuff that are not like from previous Mario games, like a lot of the Smithy enemies and even the like what Axum Rangers
Yep.
and even like mainstays like um Boshi, Gino, and Mallow, like they're like Mario esque looking characters, but they're like stylized for RPG world. Their unique designs are just, and I forget the purple crocodile dude with the hat, but even him, they didn't change any of that. I think that's wonderful. They didn't modernize anything. Like everything looks like an upscaled or I guess highly enhanced SNES character model.
Yeah. I think the only one that looks kind of weird, like, I don't know, like he kind of stands. Bowser like has his modern design. He's just Bowser.
That's fair. That's
Like,
fair.
I'm looking at the screenshot of what is supposed to be the cover art of the game, which Lamau. Um,
Yeah.
it looks like it's just modern Bowser. Everyone else has that. Well, everyone has that kind of design from the game. But like Bowser in the old game looked, I mean, he looked kind of like shit, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping he would stay looking like that.
Nah, especially now with the Mario movie having came out, I think a lot of people are big fans of Black Jack, i.e. Bowser, at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah,
So his modern design probably carries a lot more weight.
that is true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, I'm like to your point earlier, like the fact that they are bringing back a game that had a lot of these like unique Mario characters. Um, it's just a nice breath of fresh air because honestly, for the last couple of years, like especially for the Paper Mario games, we've just been getting nothing but Toads, the Goomba, the the Green Toad. Like just color, like barely any changes between characters that are supposed to be like major characters in the game, and it's just nice to see like a refreshing and like diverse cast.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited. They're definitely getting another because they're definitely charging 60.
Oh, for
Definitely
sure.
getting $60 out of me for the soundtrack alone.
Yeah, soundtrack. I mean, I'm just thinking about all the fucking weird bosses in that game too.
Do
They
you think
can't.
Square Enix is gonna have a hand in this?
Oh hell no. I honestly think they're gonna cut the Kulix fight. Um,
Do you think they'd replace it with something or just omit it completely?
I would like to pretend that yes, they'll replace it, but I would not be surprised if they cut it entirely. Like it's not hard to find it, but it is a nothing moment for the game itself. You lose nothing from removing it.
Right. I don't even know. I don't even because I never beat him. I don't know what you even get from
You
beating
get
him.
a charm that it does some broken like buff to you, but like it plays Final Fantasy IV music, um, and it's the charm looks like it's the four crystals and stuff. So it's a lot of Square Enix reference in that fight. Um, I mean, obviously nothing to do with Final Fantasy IV, I guess spoilers, but but there's it's just an extra fight you can do. I don't think you really lose anything for the game itself by removing it, but it is weird because technically that I mean Square worked on the game, but I'm trying to think like what part do they have in it? Because for the longest time, people thought like Gino was like you couldn't touch him because Square worked on the game, so technically they own the IP of Gino. But I mean, they had him in Smash technically. And I don't know. I guess they did like maybe they had a deal around them because they had Cloud and Smash as well. But honestly, how much does Square care about fucking Gino?
Yeah, right. Like he's not. He hasn't shown up in like a Final Fantasy World or like some collaborative
No,
fan game or anything.
he's shown
So
up in more Mario games. Like
right.
it's like I don't.
Bicker and brawl.
Yeah, he's in Superstar Saga, but like,
Oh, you're right. Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's for like 2 seconds, but I mean, that's kind of the impression I got from him anyway.
I'll take those.
But I will say his updated look, not updated, but his remastered HD hyper 4K look does look good. I will say that.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Malo looks the exact same, but whatever.
Well, Malo, I'm sure Malo will have a lot of fans. Just he's like the cutesy character. So
I hope so, because
Malo merch coming.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a nice cloud emoji plush.
I sorry I kind of jumped ahead, but that's probably the thing I'm most excited for. But just back into the order of things, what were your thoughts on the, I guess, kind of reveals for Scarlet and Violet DLC?
um, I didn't really care. Like this is all stuff we all knew about. Um, that's kind of honestly, I don't like. I feel like, all right, I'm not gonna jump too far ahead, but I feel like they added this information into this direct because of another game in a direct, and it's stuff that we've kind of already known about, other than like, hey, here's this new character. here's this new girl you guys can look at. Wow. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, like cool. These Pokemon have an ability that's not great, but it exists. Um, it's just like a nice little don't forget this is coming out reminder. That's what I kind of got from it.
Yeah, that's fair. My, I guess not my issue, but um, they gave that like it was the first announcement in the direct, and I think it was like 4 of the 40 minutes by itself.
Hmm.
All the new, all of the I guess gameplay stuff, and it showed us the new legendaries. It gave us some of the new story characters, like you said.
Who are
And
their
then
names? What did?
after the direct, huh?
Sorry, I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead, go ahead. I'm just gonna look something up real
Well,
quick.
I was saying after the direct, they um, revealed like the new legendary's ability, which all three of them share, which I thought was a bit odd, arguably lazy. And then they gave us like character background, like Carmine and her brother, whose name escapes me. What's his name?
Let's see.
Kieran. Kieran. There
Kieran.
you go.
Okay,
Kieran. Yeah. From the Blueberry Academy.
sounds stupid. Probably sounds better in Japanese.
And those, if we look it up, will be even more disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I will say one thing as far as the DLC. Um, well, one I will say to as you said, like the special new Pokemon having the same ability, super lame. These Pokemon are based off of like heroes and stuff. I don't know why they have Toxic as their ability. Maybe it's important to the plot, but um, kind of doesn't really make sense to me at this point in time. But neither did the Pokemon secret legendaries being all Chinese lore. So
Mm.
they're throwing curveballs just to make sure that we cannot guess the things. But I did see one thing in that a lot of the battles it seems like are going to need to be double battles, which as for those who don't know, like current VGC right now, well, for the longest time has been double battles. So I think my hope is that the DLC will actually have some pretty like difficult, like competitive battles to fight against CPUs. I mean, is that really a big deal? We can just play against real people? No, but I like it when the in-game stuff is actually trying to challenge you in some way, and hopefully that's the case for this. Um, make it seem like you actually can play some dumb teams and try some stuff out against some. They might be AI, but some people online play like AI. So what's the difference?
I think uh, I think that's just a good point that having more difficult in-game content for either those who don't have internet or those who like get like severe anxiety and stuff going online fighting, having
Yeah.
difficult in-game content, because I know a lot of people, and I'm gonna give Sword and Shield its flowers. Like Raihan was one of the more memorable characters, not only for his design but because his quote unquote gym gimmick was the weather, and it was a double battle when you fought him.
Yep.
And I really liked that he wasn't like basically locked into one type. And if the DLC is anything like this, where you're fighting people based on like, what if there's a key character whose like whole thing is like a terrain that they base their team around, or even like the new legendaries whose ability for those curious is Toxic Chain, where they like basically have a stall type of fight where they try and stall you out with their Toxic Chain ability and like slowly chip away at your team's health and stuff. I think interesting battle mechanics that you already see in competitive Pokemon being implemented into the single player experience could kind of bridge the gap for some people, and I
Yeah.
think that's really exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like it would be nice. It's a good first step overall for the company to be like we want to kind of push this competitive, um, I guess, mindset for those who actually want to go ahead and one buy the DLC and two play more of the game. Um, you know, if that's the kind of angle they want to take, and maybe we'll get lucky and they'll start looking at all the Pokemon and my dream of eventually they're going back and making some of these Pokemon actually competitively viable. That'd be um, pretty nice, pretty good. You know,
Yeah, that's a nice dream.
Yeah, hey, come on. They've gone back and added 5 points to certain stats every once in a while.
Yeah, Pidgeot's meta, right?
Yeah, I mean Polyrath's up there, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I guess kind of the last thing on Scarlet and Violet DLC, I am more excited about the second wave DLC in winter that introduces the kind of like Battle Institute Academy,
Yeah,
which I'm assuming will have some type of either um, like battle tower or some type of place where you could either grind or battle like a lot of strong trainers. I really like the single player content, and I also like characters have never been like super deep in Pokemon, but I think it would be cool to be able to have more dialogue with some of the gym leaders in Elite Four who didn't get a lot of like any screen time in this new open world generation of Gen 9.
yep, yep. I agree. Um, so we will see. The first wave will drop. Oh man, it is still not a planned date. It just says autumn 2023. Still, we don't have a.
Yeah, still fall of this year. There's no set date,
Okay, that is
to
kind
my
of.
knowledge.
Yeah, I just that's just I don't know. It's coming up. And I'm sure they've had this date planned for a while now. I mean, maybe that just means it's going to be a pretty big. I mean, hopefully it's substantial. I didn't buy Gen 8's DLC, but it didn't seem like too much. It just kind of added things that people kind of been asking for, some quality of life stuff. But hopefully this will chalk up to be pretty substantial as far as like stuff to do and extend the game's life because they've had plenty of time now. Because really, if we were on the same schedule as the last generation, we should have had this. Like this DLC should have been out now. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of weird they're releasing a summer DLC in autumn. you know,
Fair, yeah,
so
yeah. I will say I'm okay with them taking more time because I don't want them to rush into Gen 10. Um, I also want them to take their time because big Gen 5 fan here. If Gen 5 remakes get rushed out because half their team split between Scarlet Violet DLC and Gen 5 remakes, and we get BDSP 2, that might be the final nail in the Pokemon video game coffin for me.
yeah, they need. I don't know. Like, this is a concept I'm sure everyone's heard a million times, but they need to take a step back, and I think they are figuring out a way to kind of slow down their timeline. This is kind of a little bit out of like the scope of what we're talking about, but like how they are slowing down like the anime and kind of slowing down like how they're releasing stuff overall because the anime is now not taking place um, in the same exact region or how the TCG is kind of not like relying on being the same generation stuff. Like Gen 9's kind of just started, so they have kind of staggered release times on stuff. So it gives them a little. I think it gives them a little bit more breathing room for these game development cycles. Um,
Hmm.
so
Right.
I'm hopeful that that's the case, and that we'll get the Gen 10 that needs to happen because we're depending on who you ask. I feel like the last two generations, Gen 8 and Gen 9, have kind of been lackluster as far as like presentation or just at its core.
Mhm.
Not bad games, but functionally not great games. Um, so I think that needs to be addressed.
Right.
And that's a hopeful comment I'm going to end on because I think that's big, dude. Gen 10 and Gen 5 remakes, like a return to form again would be like fantastic, and I think they're setting themselves up for that with how things are kind of going for them as a company.
I don't really have much else to say on the Gen 9 DLC. I hope it is worth the money that I've already thrown at this company. And yeah, I guess what else were you interested in from the direct?
Honestly, I mean, we can stay on the Pokemon track, and I do want to talk a little bit about Detective Pikachu Returns. I don't mind a point and click, and I think I've played a little bit of the original in 3DS. I don't mind like a crime point and click game. Those are usually pretty fun. And just adding Pokemon to it kind of adds on to it now. Well, I'll just say right now, the game we're getting a sequel. It's releasing on the October 6th for Nintendo Switch. You can pre-order it today, which is coming up in like 4 months. That's pretty soon. Um,
Yeah,
pretty good game, the original. I think the only thing that's kind of putting me off is I feel like I'm gonna play this game in Japanese. I just cannot get down with the idea of Pikachu sounding like fuck, I can't remember his name. Um, the Deadpool guy. What is his fucking name?
I wish I could help you here.
I
I
know.
have. The only thing I know about Detective Pikachu is when I buy stuff at GameStop, they give me the cards for free.
Lamau. Which I don't think they're doing again. Ryan Reynolds. I can't know why I can't remember his name, but which I just don't know. Like Pikachu sound like a grown ass man is just like why? He's like 2 feet tall. Not even. You know. My entire life I've heard, Pika Pika, from be up the octave by like a shit ton, and like that's been like in my head that is Pikachu's voice, and now he sounds like that, and I'm sure other people feel like it's very off-putting, but I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I was so I won't even say my issue with Pikachu in the Detective Pikachu series, but it's almost like they took a hard pivot right. And I'm not opposed to them switching things up, but like to your point, the cute Pikachu obviously is the successful form of things. Like I think the Ryan Reynolds voice, I thought initially it was like just a gag, like it'd be funny. And when I saw there's gonna be a sequel for this, I was like, okay, is there gonna be a new detective character? But this storyline is probably meaningful to someone out there. But to your point, the Ryan Reynolds Pikachu, I think it should have stayed around for a movie, and he could make a cameo. But having like a new character with a different voice Pikachu is what I was hoping for because it's very off-putting in cutscenes when what's the main character Tim,
yeah, Tim Goodman.
who I think has like a perfectly fine and very serviceable English voice, is talking to this 45-year old. Uh, I haven't smoked since college. Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds.
I'm saying, dude, like it's to me it's off-putting, and that's probably my one gripe with the game because yeah, besides that, like it looks like a good game. Like we don't really get to see very often. Usually see spin-off games, right? Because Pokemon Company, please understand, small indie company, our Pokemon models aren't up to snuff all the time. It's very difficult to get them to look good. But these spin-off games is kind of where you go to see like Pokemon as
More character.
high definition. Yeah, more character, more like impressions of like the Pokemon and the world itself. Like you come to the spin-off games to see that. And we're not getting too many of those out nowadays. So whatever we can get, we want to look at. Like Pokemon Snap, pretty much a nothing game. You got a tech demo now in HD, but like it looks great and seeing the kind of like the world and everything looking like how it does, like it is a very pretty game and you're not really used to that with Pokemon. So, you know, looking at Detective Pikachu, it's like, okay, like here we are in this not metropolitan, but a very robust, like populated city, and we get to see, how Pokemon interact within a town with other people, what that kind of life is. It's just kind of a cool world to kind of see in action, and that's probably what's going to be the big pull. I feel like for most people who are buying this game because you know I, I don't know what kind of how deep and dark of a crime story Pokemon's gonna go. Like maybe someone fell down and broke a leg, and who broke that leg? We'll never know. It's very scary. How do you pay a hospital bill in the world of Pokemon?
Well, we can hope that a story-driven Pokemon game can lead us to other story-driven Pokemon games, i.e., Mystery Dungeon or something. Not to go on a tangent or anything, but I hope this game does well. Not for the purposes of the Detective Pikachu IP, exceeding standards, but to have Pokemon Company have faith in their older spin-off IPs that had somewhat stronger stories or even more characterization of Pokemon, like in Poke Park, which I'm sure some of these models are from, if not Pokemon Go.
Lamau. Hey, we got him pretty far from Pokemon Stadium though. You know, we are past the tried and true
Battle
1990.
Revolution.
Yeah, oh my god, it's crazy. Speaking of Wii games, um, another.
That's the segue.
Hey, just you wait. Speaking of Wii games, we got we
Oh
got
hell
we
no!
got some news dropped on a new soup Mario Brothers game
Think of that.
with
What
Super
is that?
Mario.
It's not even an acronym. It's this is like shorthand.
Bro, how
New
do you not
soup
like,
is
dude? New
horrible.
soup is so because that's what it is. It's just soup. It's just nothing. It's a nothing ass series. You're not a fan of this, are you?
So, and we'll talk more about why I think this was more of like a let's put this out to be petty or let's put this out because it'll be funny to like shoot Sonic.
Yeah.
But we already have this game and we already have a better version of this game with new Super Mario the Wii U port.
Deluxe.
3D one, yeah, no, the 3D
Oh,
one, the 3D
3D
one,
World. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, new Super Mario 3D World. Not that I'm opposed to multiplayer Mario, but side-scrolling Mario, but I feel like they already solved it with Mario Maker 2, and I can't see this being better than Mario Maker 2. If anything, once they made Mario Maker 2, and I'm sure this is something they had to consider when they created the game, I'm more so waiting for Mario Maker 3 where they implement anything cool from Super New Soup Wonder and add that to the next Mario Maker.
Yeah, I like that is the exact point, right? Because like no matter what the and it's really funny that the whole idea of this game is like unpredictable things happening. It's just like, all right, but you literally made a sandbox game where people can make just about whatever they want. Whatever ideas you've come up with, I'm sure besides like special visual stuff you can't do in Super Mario Maker 2, it's already been done. Um, I just I don't know. Is it like like to your point? I don't. Is there anything like new that's gonna be enough to do to get this game to like stand out? Like we weren't
King
overdue.
Flowers,
Yeah.
grind rails, Koopa Troopas with roller skates, Elephant Mario? Question mark.
What does he do? He's big. He's large.
Like I don't know. And there's like uh whatever the new item is that basically makes the entire world just start acting crazy. I don't know if you remember it. He grabs that blue
Oh no,
thing,
you
which
you
is
know that is just it is going to get outplayed before the end of the game. You're gonna be tired of that shit. It is. It's like, oh, here comes some weird shit. Okay, what are you gonna throw at us? Oh, there's a lot more enemies on the screen. The pipes are moving. Uh, you can shrink now. All right. So something that by the way, New Soup One was doing. It's I I think the only really cool thing is that you can play as a lot of different characters in this game as opposed to four. You can play as six, but you know, I I think they're all gonna play just about the same. You know, there's not a whole lot. Like Daisy's in there, cool. You can play as Daisy. You know,
and
but
I'm assuming she probably just floats like Peach.
I'm going to
I
assume
don't even think I saw anything.
the if I don't think maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone had any special abilities. But if they do, I would assume that she's just like she's gonna be like Luigi to Peach. You know, I do something a little bit more differently than you, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Mario usually doesn't do like DLC or anything crazy, but this is coming out October 20th of this year.
Yes.
Um, Not saying that Mario games are like hard to make or anything, but I do hope they put a little extra into this game to make it really stand out because I'm sure it'll be a serviceable and fine game. Like it's a Mario 2D side scroller. They've already mastered this formula,
Yeah.
but I hope they do something to make this like, be a standout experience. Because currently, just as it is, I'm completely fine saving my $60 and just turning back on Mario Maker 2, which has better multiplayer from what I can see. Because online split screen is way better than four people crowded on one screen being dragged back and forth from screen.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, we will see. I'm sure it'll get like a 10 out of 10. What a great game. Soup's still good.
Mario does it again. IGN article.
Yep, there it is. Print it, ship it. Um, let's see. What else do we have? Uh,
Definitely, definitely just want to go into the Dragon Quest monsters. If you're
let's
down.
let's fucking go. This I was so excited when this got announced. Just because I mean, this is such an easy pick up and play game. I love Dragon Quest monsters. Even like I think last year, yeah, I went back and played Dragon Quest Monsters 2, Kobe's Journey, which doesn't
Let's
fucking.
go.
I mean, to be fair, I'm just sitting there like, what? I looked it up. What's the difference between the two games? Not much. Um,
Hey, RIP Kobe, bro. Come on.
hey, he was a real one.
You played to put some respect on Kobe.
You right. Hey,
Nah, no, this is like this is the game, bro. Like if you get tired of playing um Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or you're tired of like waiting between DLCs, I'm telling you, this is one of the best monster tamer games for you people out there who play this genre still.
I agree. I think this is the one that kind of hits the middle ground for like difficulty, but not looking at you know um, whatever the fuck Shin Megami Tensei is throwing out. And
That's for another episode.
yeah, man. Well, as soon as I open that game, but yeah, it's such like a good time because so this, like it's kind of getting to like my big complaint with people with this game, um, because people always say like, oh, is this like? Don't remember, this is a really good game. This is not a Pokemon killer. As much as it is to be like, oh, if you want more, play this. It is not going to replace Pokemon as far as like um a as like an IP, I guess, but it is its own thing. But I think it does it very well. Um I mean, there's plenty to do. Like, there's a much more robust post game. There's a lot of callbacks for Dragon Quest fans. Even from this trailer alone, like the world you're in is the underworld from I believe the fifth and fourth game. I want to say, pretty sure. But like it is like a love letter to those who love the Dragon Quest series. But then it's a very good monster taming game. Um, so a lot of really good stuff there. My only, my thing with it is like it's always like, will it actually be as robust of a game as I think it should be? Like obviously the last couple of games have been on DS, so of course they're going to be small. But now we're on the Switch. Is this going to be a full-fledged game? With a much more, as like at the same scale of like the Dragon Quest games, I'll say.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, so
go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, I think I think you like hit it right on the head. I think this will be like it will still have the freeform Dragon Quest monsters like do what you want type thing, but I think this is going to be like a more story driven one because I don't know if you saw like the last like 5 seconds of the trailer where they show the hero from uh, Dragon Quest Five, I believe, the green haired one.
Four.
Four, yeah, him being a part of the story and the main character being kind of assuming based on the trailer the Dark Prince, who it seems to be in some relation to like the underworld. I think this will coincide with the mainline Dragon Quest games. And I think that's really awesome because this has always been kind of like just a spin-off series with throwbacks, but no direct tie to the main series.
Hmm. Yeah. There have been a few games that have direct ties, but they're mostly like, here's this character doing his own thing. So seeing the main character from 4 pop in is going to be they usually have like a side character. So having a main character pop in is going to be kind of like, well, what is he doing here? Like you can tame monsters in those games, but you can't like you don't usually do it. So I like to see what they end up doing with that. Um, but yeah, so really good. I would recommend trying to pre-order it now because um, this is the issue I have with Square Enix, where they don't have a lot of confidence in their own games, and at least outside of Japan. And now I kind of
Right.
understand. Like Dragon Quest is pretty much like a lord and savior out in Japan. I get it. Definitely sells way more out there than it does in here, the U.S. Um, but now when I first heard this, it stated that pre-orders were only available on the Square Enix store. After doing some more research, that is not the case. You can still pre-order on Amazon, on GameStop, but it is sounding like there will not be. It's a not a made to order, but essentially, if you don't pre-order this game, you're not going to get it. Um, and this is my issue with Square, and why I feel like these games will never be able to like kind of take off. Is like they do not have a lot of confidence in the series in the West, even though it is like probably the one of the better Monster Tamer games. Um, you if you don't like it's availability. That's the biggest issue, I'll say. If you don't pre-order it and you're like, oh, I'm just shopping for a game, you're not going to find this on the shelf. You might find it used, maybe,
Right.
but it is not a game that's going to be. I feel like it's not going to be going to be readily available, even though they threw it in a Nintendo Direct, so more eyes can see it. Um, and I see these arguments all the time where it's like, is this going to be the Pokemon killer? I'm like, there's not enough copies on the ground to even compete with it.
Right.
Um,
No, I think it's to your point exactly that. It's its own thing. It's different, and something that I like about Dragon Quest Monsters, as well as a slight shout out to Digimon, the characters that you recruit are, and not saying the Pokemon don't have character, but they typically have their own voice lines, their own personalities. You get to like learn about like what their species does because the monsters can talk human languages in most cases. So I feel like more deeply connected. Not that it's like a social game, like it's not like um, say like SMT or anything where there's like you have to recruit them with different tactics and stuff.
mm,
A lot of them just want to eat meat, which is fine. Shout out to monsters. But um, I like building your party in Dragon Quest a lot more than Pokemon because the interactions you're able to have with your monsters are a lot more intimate than in say like a Pokemon collectathon game.
yeah,
So you can build a party, and the Dragon Quest games allow you to use those monsters for like the entire game through the like breeding system and the stat boosters and stuff within these games, as well as the equipment. Like with Pokemon, you can switch at any time you want, which is great, and you can give them an item, but there's no like I can't redeem my friend like Joseph the Slime or something. Like I can't make him useful, right? I can't increase his level cap or something.
yeah, exactly. Like you kind of have to. You almost have to. You almost kind of make. You almost like with all the flavor text and how the game mechanics work. You almost kind of make your own story or their own stories as characters. And I feel like Pokemon doesn't really have that. I think the
Which is
closest would,
okay.
yeah, which
Which
is
is
fine,
okay.
which is fine. Like they again, to our point, they're their own things. Um, but it is kind of like nice to be like, oh yeah, like I remember Rick, the spotted slime. Me and him, traveled the world until he couldn't really, he couldn't hang anymore. So he got married, and then his son, Rick
Rick
Two,
Jr. Yeah,
right,
no, Rick
the
too.
God Slime, is now rolling in the cut.
What's that spell that slime gets at level 99? The
Shell.
magic burst?
Yeah, probably is magic burst. Doesn't he like kill himself?
Now he depletes all his mana, and that's how much damage he does,
Oh,
right?
okay. Still
I
wrong.
think it's in the yeah, it's in the Game Boy Dragon Quest Monsters
Yeah,
because you
only
see
Slash can learn it, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of
But
goofy.
funny enough, yeah, I was gonna say, funny enough, for Nintendo of America, they posted the trailer for Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince, the new one we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And the gaming category section they put is the 1998 Dragon Warrior Monsters as the game section.
Jeez. Okay. I guess to remind you that yes, this game did exist.
98.
I mean, it's a good series. I think it is kind of funny though, because I looked it up. 'Cause I was curious. Every single this is mostly for like around Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, but what they would do is wait like a couple of months after the newest Pokemon game dropped, and then drop this game or this series, and like, hey, like I heard you guys are kind of done playing baby game, so here, come on over, buy our stuff. I mean, it worked.
Well, they did. I say they did good enough overseas. You know, like Dragon Quest Monsters Joker. I watched a tournament, a Japanese tournament for it. So the 3DS one, I believe. So is that two? Dragon Quest Monsters Joker two,
That's three.
three? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
which is another
people
thing.
love this franchise.
Yeah, I mean, we might see, for at least a couple of months here, a kind of competitive like scene before they go and hide in the subreddit somewhere in the bowels of Reddit. But hey, we might see it, and it's on the Switch, like you're getting like a pretty decent looking, spectacle to watch. So I can see it, and I think, I mean, they announced some other things. I mean, if we're done with Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I'm good.
Um, they announced some other things during this direct, but like they're cool. You can look it up yourselves.
Yeah, and if there's something you really want us to talk about, definitely let us know, like in the comments, which there will be some on whatever streaming platform you're using. Things that are like we're interested in, but not really weren't like super like big highlights to us, but definitely interested. Like Star Ocean, the second story R, Penny's big breakaway, also
Yeah,
new 3D platformer.
excited
Metal Gear
for. Had
Solid
nothing to
Master
say.
Collection.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm super excited. I plan on getting this, but I have nothing really to say on it. There's no like pre-established anything for it, so just I hope it does well. Love platformers. I think that was really it from me.
yeah. I think
Can't think of
that's.
anything else.
I mean, I don't know. Unless you want to talk about Batman, I think it's time we move on to the next direct.
Yeah, I am very excited since we're segueing into this, and this was also in the Nintendo Direct. Sonic
Oh
Superstars.
yeah. So this isn't soup. This is an actual meal. I mean, honestly, like I saw this, I was like, and then we saw Wonder later because this got announced first. Seeing Wonder and being like, I can't lose another fucking Mario game, but then seeing, oh, another 2D Mario, 2D Sonic, let's fucking go. I'm here for this. Like, this looks way more interesting. Um, Mostly because they are the new things they're trying to incorporate in the gameplay. Um, So Sonic Superstars, as like a quick gist, is Sega's or Sonic Team's latest 2D Sonic game. But the twist here is you can play multiplayer now, um, and there are some new powers you can incorporate using the Seven Chaos Emeralds, a series first, since usually they don't do shit by themselves. Um, Now you can play local four-player co-op with your friends and Sonic levels that are hopefully designed for that kind of gameplay. Um, but it looks really good. They are incorporating some older characters from the series, and yeah, I mean, I don't know, like just from the get-go, it looks exciting, looks fun. There's a couple of things I'm just like typical Sega dropping the ball on a few things, but like it looks promising.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope they're willing to take more chances with this one because I feel like whenever they made a 2D game in recent times, they were very afraid to implement like modern quality of life things as well as like modern mechanics. So I really like that they even I know it's something small, but even having grind rails as part of some of the level design and implementing that Game Gear 3D where they where Sonic walks on the wall like kind of like sideways, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
I thought that was interesting. Also, having I think they had special stages in the style of Sonic One and Sonic Two
yeah,
in the trailer, if I remember correctly. Even a new style, I believe. I remember he was
and
what was
just
the new special stage
avoid.
where he was like in space. Yeah, he's just in a void. But there's a lot of things to be excited for. Pre-boss cutscenes, uh, like you said, Steven, the Chaos Emeralds being used without having all seven, I think is a awesome thing that I think it took them a very long time to implement, but I'm happy that they are starting to experiment.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
mentioned Game Gear inspiration, and like it took me like it didn't take me very long because like obviously the jungle level is based off a level in Sonic Triple Trouble. Um, they are pulling a lot of stuff from the Game Gear games. It is kind of weird. Like even I mean, it sounds like a dig, but it's really not. Even the simplicity of how the bosses look, because the bosses are just blown up badniks, like that in itself is a Game Gear callback. So like, it's very interesting that that is what they're drawing from for this game. Um, obviously Fang is there. Um,
Woo!
uh, yeah, I mean, Fang is there. We're getting some just a lot of cool callbacks. Hopefully, you get the rest of the some more old character cast. People like that shit, you know. Um, but I'm interested to hear what inspired them to kind of go that route of like we're gonna pull from the system that kind of had good games, but really only had like two good Sonic games.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Um, what else do we have to say about it? I mean, there's not much to say. I guess my only complaint is, well, I guess worry. Multiplayer and Sonic has, especially on the same screen, has never worked. And that's a pretty big complaint, to be honest. I know, but like, hoping that they have a way to make that work because I don't know for people who have played Sonic 2 with a friend or something. Yeah, you never fucking played. Like you watched them play. Tails ain't
Yeah.
doing shit because there's no way you're all going to be in sync the whole time.
You can only play the boss fights essentially
Yeah,
together.
exactly. And like if that's going to be the case for this, like that's going to be a hard sell. Because I initially thought the game was going to have online foreplay. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I get my own screen. You're racing. Like it is a mad dash to the end. Like that makes sense. That's cool. But local co-op, um, like the only way I can see it working is, you know, we talked about this before. There's a game that where if you go too far, the game kind of split screens.
Yeah, the screen like auto splits until the person you're playing with catches up.
Yeah,
Because it looks like when there's four players or there's more than one player on the screen, it looks like it zooms out. But they don't show what happens when someone is like at the edge of the screen. And I'm
yeah,
hoping it's not like in like local Mario Maker or the other like new soups where you get rubber banded, turned into a bubble, or like the screen just stops moving until the other player who's like in last per se or the
catches
most
up.
behind catches up, which
Yeah,
I think it just like makes the gameplay it makes it artificially difficult but also not satisfying to play. And I think Sonic games are games people find satisfying, like easy to play, hard to master type games.
yeah. So I mean, the game's gonna have, I feel like, some naysayers, but I think like, dude, they have to like nip that in the bud. That we have a way to make this work because I'm sure, and I haven't really like looked at like how people feel about this game, but like people got to be thinking about that, right? Because like that's the only thing. Like 2D Sonic multiplayer, the only thing I can think of is playing with as Tails and hand a controller to my little sibling for them to not fucking play the games. They can just shut up, stick it to the
Constantly just be
boss,
respawned in as I speed run whatever the first level will be, like on
right?
accident.
Like it just it they like I think that's so glaring for them to not see that is like it sounds fucked up. Like it's obviously an issue, but it's so Sonic Team just ignore it completely. Yeah, we'll
100%
figure it out.
agree, and I will say they are a company who I think they wait too long to listen to fan feedback, but I think they do listen to fan feedback. I don't know how they'll do in a multiplayer setting, or if they even knew like how to fix this problem. Because I just don't think Sonic as a franchise is made for multiplayer,
Yeah,
and I can't see them designing all the levels around this idea. You know, like that four people could be on the screen at once. There's no way every part of a level is designed around that.
yeah. I mean, we did see some slower sections of the game, which
Right.
I don't know how to feel. Like there's some I don't know how to feel about, like the transform into jellyfish, which like it was that part was made specifically for the multiplayer aspect to like this is a part where you can screw over your friends, mini game time, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's fine, but like I just don't know what this is doing at this point. I don't know what this is doing in the Sonic game. Like why are we turning into 8-bit hero? You know?
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely hoping for the best. I do plan on getting it because I do think it will be a very fun and solid Sonic entry, even if it's a single player experience for me, just to talk about it with friends after playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see on the multiplayer because they've already was Sonic Mania multiplayer online.
Sonic Mania, no.
Okay, so maybe that's just something that they as a company aren't comfortable with because most Sonic Online up till now has been um, what like time trial related, right?
Yeah, yeah, more or
Yeah,
less.
makes sense.
Trying to think. Yeah, yeah. Whenever they've tried to do multiplayer, it's always been local for the most part, or not interacting with each other. So this will be a new, this is breaking new ground.
Challenge.
Yeah, yeah, a new generation, a new frontier, even.
I am excited. F Super Mario Wonder for trying to come out at the same time as this because this drops also fall of this year, and the Sega Nintendo wars have long since ended. Nintendo, you won. Please sit down. Let Sonic shine.
Just for a bit.
Sonic forever.
Yeah, I agree. I think them dropping Wonder in a direct was just like, hey, I know Superstars is coming out, but like, hey, you got your Mario over here, your old friend. Come on, buy some more Mario. Fuck Sonic. You don't need that. You don't need that new stuff. That new juice is no good. Come over here.
But I guess maybe in a super meta, unintended way, this could be intentional by both companies because almost every Sonic thing is on a Nintendo console. Maybe they both agreed to release these games to kind of revitalize some older fans into buying both games. You know,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
tinfoil hat.
I mean, not a bad hat.
Sonic's still better.
Molded kind of well.
No,
Just,
Elephant Mario is still better than
oh my god.
Tentacle Sonic.
Oh man, that power sucks. I hate it. It's so
I'm not even gonna
stupid.
say which. Both of them suck.
No, yeah, you're right because they do both suck, and I think the one with the Mario one is just like this is what counts as a superpower. The rest of these new powers are probably gonna not be great either, but neither here nor there. Well, I think that covers it for superstars. The thing about the Sonic Central, there was a lot of funny parts. Not a whole lot of like game content stuff. Well, actually, obviously, like it was all encompassing Sonic stuff. So we have a whole bunch of shit that went down. like the direct, we're not going to talk about everything because some of it was nothing. Um, but like Roblox, I don't play Roblox. I don't care. Sonic got a fucking tip of the hat.
Dapper skin,
Yeah, he's
bro.
looking quite dapper in a game I don't play. I can't see him.
I am super excited, and this isn't like it's kind of like a side tangent, but Sonic Frontiers, Sonic's birthday skin plus all the new moves and just all the goofy stuff they're putting in that game that doesn't really affect gameplay severely, but just like lets you keep being cool and
Yeah,
like turning the grind rails into like candy cane or like ribbon and stuff. Giving Sonic new techniques to fight with, which if some people who like the combat, which I was a fan of, even though I haven't finished the game yet, just giving people other ways to play and like enjoy the game for free, even I think is just awesome.
yeah. I think if anything, I can say what they're doing with Frontiers is A plus, and like I'm all for it. They have done nothing but good things with this game. Say what you will about the final boss. Everything leading up to it was a joy to play, and that we're getting more of it um, for free is like great. Like I hope people can recognize that yes, this is a really good game. If you haven't played it yet, I mean, I say give it a go. I think you can get it for like $40 now. Like all I'm saying is like
Yeah.
I would just pick it up just to get it. It's like you're getting a pretty good Sonic game. You're getting free content for it. We're getting new characters. Think of the next wave, and more story content. Which is like, hey, if you didn't like the ending, you're gonna get it's more something. So you know, like there's so much good shit happening with Frontiers. I think that I didn't play the Birthday Bash update stuff from what I saw though, and from what I beat, the games. Like from what I can kind of get an idea of like from what I saw and what I'm playing. I'm like the Spin Dash is a really cool addition to change up ways to fight against bosses. Um, I like I think the outfit's funny as hell. It's so fucking like 90s bullshit. And it's not like
Oh
some
yeah, just over the top.
yeah, exactly. And it was way more. I thought he was gonna get like a little birthday hat, and that was it. Like no, the hat, the shades. I think he has like a jacket or something. Let me look it up real quick. I'm not just talking on my ass, but like
Well, remember the shades have like the Sonic One archway from the Genesis games,
yeah, like
which is like completely unnecessary, but hell yes.
it's so good. Hold on, here we go.
Also, part of this update is what are the Cocos? Are they called Cocos?
Yeah,
The people
Cocos.
you collect? Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed in the trailer, one of them has Excalibur on his back.
What the fuck?
So I noticed it. Just a random Black Knight nod.
That's so good.
He's standing next to the Ninja Coco in the trailer.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course he has to. So like, uh, it's
They're having
kind.
fun with it.
Yeah, they're kind of just doing random because like honestly, like no one's collecting Coco. Like
Right.
you put them in for points and then you get a stronger self and they're gone forever. But like people can do that. You stand still, your collection loads up. You could show people like these are Coco I've gotten. I have all Big King Coco.
You old cowboy Coco.
Burger King drive-through Coco. That's all I have.
Hey, in future updates, oh, I didn't realize he got a bow tie on his birthday skin. That's funny. But in
Yeah.
future updates, because the Coco skins seem to be easy to make, they're probably going to do something, um, just something like ridiculous. Like make all the Cocos like Chaos Emeralds, or make all the Cocos like Chows or something. Even
Yeah.
like I know they're not things that like affect gameplay too much, but just like they're having fun with the game, and I think that's like the spirit of Sonic. Like freedom, fun, speed, and I'm just excited to see them take the good they're doing from this game into the next big Sonic game.
Oh yeah, because we all know this is a framework game. Um
Right.
and I think they have done a great job. And honestly, like I know, like, because to your point, like mods could have done all this. They could have just done it with mods.
Mm-hmm.
But just that's why they feel that you have to put even more work into it to show that like, it is a high quality edition. That's not something that was in someone's like Unity lab for 2 days. Like they've made it look really good. Um, and you know we're gonna add more to it. I think we also forgot to mention the new game plus, which isn't like super crazy but kind of cool. You can start the game with all the moves you have from your first run through. That's nice. So like they're treating people well. I'm eating good for free 99. I can turn that game on. I got new content waiting for me for nothing. And that's still not considering the first update that gave us a sound a fucking MP3 player to run along with. It's some pretty good tracks.
Right.
So all free. So all four Sonic Frontiers continue to do well. I will give Sonic his flowers a million times over for this game so far. Been great. Been great.
And just my last thing for this is like because of them adding new moves to Sonic, I'm very excited for when they add the other playable characters, even if it's just like Tails Knuckles or Tails Knuckles Amy or whoever they end up adding. I'm excited for how they will make them play because I think that'll give us like a framework for the future Sonic games in terms of are they going to start making games again where you can play as other characters, or if they're going to stick with just Sonic. I think they might use the DLC as a way to like gauge interest, or if it's worthwhile engineering these characters to not feel like Sonic but still be fun in a Sonic-based game.
I think that's awesome. That opens up doors to so many things. That's new games. That's having multiple players, characters in Sonic games. Maybe we can finally look into that Sonic Adventure, like not re HD, like an actual remaster of that game. Like it's the stars are kind of aligning. You know,
Yeah, can't wait for all the new DLC for Sonic Frontiers. Go check out the game if you haven't. It goes on sale a lot.
yeah. It's
Um,
not a big commitment either. That thing that's another big thing. Like it's a Sonic game. You're not gonna suck 100 hours into it. But I can't. I have to finish it. No, shut up. It's
you're
a
not
Sonic.
playing Xenoblade,
Yeah, you can beat it in a day if you so choose.
right? They show off a lot of cool merchandise as well with the Hypeland collab, the Comic Con collab, um, the new guitars and skins they were dropping. But the one that they seemed to like be very invested in was, and this is kind of like in jest, but the Lego Sonic collab
Yeah,
with the
they
new Eggman wrap.
do the Eggman. Look, those bars, heat, heat. I don't know who
This
like
is
what's
this is
up.
a new anthem for Eggman fans.
Oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
all I'm saying.
I've gone back and played it like 3 times. Like it's, it's so fucking good. It's just a good bit. Like I like when they know they're being like super hammy with it, but it's like yeah, but like we're at the end of the day we're like a thing for kids, so we're gonna just do whatever we want.
Yeah, like I was driving home from work the other day, and some there's elementary school where there's this kid who always has like a Sonic shirt on, and he had a Sonic and Mario shirt walking home with his mom and his little brother, and I was like, there's still hope in the world. There's still hope. There are kids out there who just like Sonic.
Blessed. I can't remember. Yeah, like honestly, like just like just the whole thing was like okay, cool. Like this is just wholesome dumb shit that I can kind of get down with. So Lego Eggman dropped some bars. He hit someone's fucking monitor, which probably killed some pixels on it, which is just dastardly. Um, and
True, I gotcha.
they're honestly, I didn't care about the product. Like I was like, I don't play Legos, but like
But when he
like
shaved that man bald and made him an Eggman clone,
yeah, bro, like that's big. When he killed
that's a real
Sonic three
Eggman
times,
energy.
I
Do
shoot
you? So
Sonic.
I know you're not like a big Lego person. I'm not either. But do you think the make Lego Sonic more Eggman? Do you think that product will actually sell well? Because it's kind of
Um,
disgusting to look at.
I think it won't sell well. I think we will get it in stores because that's the thing about these like Twitter things. It's very easy. Like I hate to say it, but I'm gonna put spin on it. The Badnik bots are gonna push for this to happen. And hey, all I'm saying is that they can hire me. That's a great spiel. If it ends up happening, they have to make it because Eggman, bro. Eggman pushed it. He had all of his Twitter bots go up and push that hashtag. But on the real though, probably not. There's no way they're gonna make a whole bunch. They'll probably make a couple special orders for people, but that's just not that's not happening. I can't do it. Did it have like actual like not Lego pieces on it?
Uh, so I don't want to say these are his goggles, but his like goggles and eyes seem to be not Lego pieces. And his arms, oh man, this is like really like hurting me to look at. But some of these don't look like Lego pieces, and he stands pretty tall. I think he's like a 2 foot tall figure,
I'm telling you, bro, it's gonna be a special.
like a
Uh,
limited run
yeah,
something.
exactly. I mean, to be fair, I think it was pretty funny because like they showed the old merch, and he looked fucking stupid.
For sure.
He looked
They
bad.
they were just like they need someone to knock. The kids need someone to knock over.
He is big and just large.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting for some people. I know some people out there are like big Lego enthusiasts, and some people collect just the video game ones. So that is something nice for those people.
Yep.
Um,
Um, let's
for the
see.
Sonic Direct, Phil, I don't know. I guess I'm just out of touch, but apparently the Crocs and Sonic collab is a really big thing.
We're
I
not
don't
out of
know how
touch.
you felt.
Everyone is just
Okay,
wrong.
okay.
This is gross. Hate
So many
Crocs.
people wear Crocs nowadays.
But they're like, look, we as a as a collective, we killed people for wearing Crocs. You couldn't come to
Verbally,
school the next day.
I
But
was just
like
surprised. Like people were really excited. I saw more people retweet the Crocs than like the Lego set or the Sonic Symphony tickets.
insane. Like my thing is like I think the first time I heard someone raving for about Crocs was I was working at Amazon. I was like, okay, maybe they're just really comfortable. And that was it. That was the end of it. And the person who was raving about them, kind of an eccentric person anyway. So like their Crocs were like neon green, and they had all the what did they call them? Uh,
Things they put in the holes.
yeah, like the Pogs or whatever the fuck, some weird shit.
No way, there's an actual word for it.
I think there is. Aren't they like trinkets or something?
I don't. Let's talk after the show.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put plastic
After you
things
finish.
for Crocs, and then I'm gonna get the word because they said it during the direct, and I was like, what is this? Nope, I'm getting plastic buttons.
Jesus.
All right, well,
Yeah.
another day. But
Anyway,
anyway,
Sonic stickers.
yeah, something like that.
I don't know. You're
But
trying out
I,
here.
I don't know, man. Look at them shoes, bro. I can't. Like, I don't. I'm not trying. I don't have like shoe riz. Someone asked to clean my shoes. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm throwing these away after like a week. But like, if you show me some Crocs, it's just like if you got
All
the
Crocs are
Daz,
3D printed, bro. Come
yeah, you
on.
got some 3D printed plastic, and you got the Chaos Emerald trinket in your shoe. I'm like, get that shit away from me. What are you 10? Get out of here. It's just
Hey, if this is what it takes to get enough development funds for the next Sonic game, buy your Crocs, everyone.
so be it, I guess. I will not be joining. I'm just gonna go buy a video game. Like a responsible gamer. You will not catch me with the Crocs on these streets.
So just going through some of the rest of the direct. There's the new comic cover variant. There is Sonic Prime, Sonic Symphony, as we noted earlier. Um,
I mean, I just want to put
Samba
an
de
update.
Amigo.
People who don't know, if you wanted to get tickets, you're still thinking about it. It's too late. It was too late when this got announced. And I mean that for everywhere. Tickets sold out almost immediately. So hope you can somehow skydive into the Chicago theater. But that's not happening. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, yeah. We really did try. Within 20 minutes of the direct ending, the Sonic Central direct, the tickets were sold out, and they were having to make new time slots that also sold out. So um, Sonic music still some of the best music created by the human race of all time, and it's really showing there. But we will not be in attendance,
No,
and that's okay.
I was gonna film the whole
Uh,
thing for everyone, and now I won't be able to.
this is your fault,
Oh
Sonic Team.
man, if only someone gave me their ticket to share with the rest of the world.
Um, yeah, that's. I think that's really it. We kind of, yeah, we kind of touched on everything in the Sonic Direct.
Well, as much as they
Something that
touched on it, because like they announced the movie is still coming, and the Knuckles series is coming out this year, by the way. Um,
wait, what?
the Knuckles TV series that's still happening, which blows my
They
fucking
didn't say
mind.
anything about it, and we're already
No,
halfway through the year.
yes, and I wouldn't be. I mean, obviously, it's the media and the new era. We can just cancel at the last minute. That's fine, which is fine for this because honestly, I'm not really looking forward to seeing a Knuckles series about him in the real world. But they're, I guess, they're still doing it. Um, so that's still happening. Don't know what the fuck it's gonna be about. Um, no details, but yep, that's all still happening. I don't have too much to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, more power to them if it comes out, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, and there's a little bit too much to go through. So I'm okay with them not creating a show or a movie that I have to watch because that's more time I will not have to do other things.
Yep,
So I'm fine with them delaying it as well.
I agree. This is it's interesting time because they're making like a lot of video games are making their own show series. Um, wait, what the? Oh, oh, okay, sorry. I was curious about something else regarding Pokemon about their anime show, and apparently getting a sneak peek tomorrow.
We want to cover that
The
another
Pokemon
time.
Concierge. I know it's kind of like a last minute, but anyway. Um, so yeah, besides that, I think that'll do it. There are some things that are happening around that we won't be available to see, like the San Diego Comic Con is getting a Sonic chili dog restaurant, but like, is that really a big deal? Somebody, yes, but um, yeah, I think that pretty much rounds out the Sonic Central news. We will see. We will obviously keep you guys up to date on things that we actually do commit to trying. And similar to Nintendo Direct, if there's someone's like, "Oh man, you didn't talk about somebody amigo," well, Joseph, nobody cared. Um, so we could talk about it later. Or no one
What's
talked
that?
about Sonic Prime Dash, which I don't know about you, but when they announced that, I was like, wait, it so it's the same game, and it is the same game, but it's a
It is the
new
same game.
game.
It's the same game.
It's the same, bro. Like I don't know what they're doing because they have the Sonic Forces game, which is just Sonic Dash, and Sonic Prime Dash. It's like they're all the same fucking game.
Yeah,
Wait,
so I'm
no.
wondering what.
I'm sorry. There's a Sonic Dash Plus, which is a different game.
I'm just wondering, like, is that how the market works? Where having having multiple versions of the same game dedicated to one like sub IP or sub franchise generates more money?
I guess. Like it's just to me, it's just like I don't know. Okay, so I will say like I've seen gameplay. Sonic Forces Dash Brown's a much like it has a competitive. You can play with other players, and Sonic Dash you cannot. But then I have to think, why not just play the Sonic Forces game? But
Right.
I don't know. Like maybe that to your point, maybe that does work that way, but which I guess kind of like you have more people downloading things and easier way to find that stuff. But it's just like and things like this to announce stuff like that is like I don't know. You're almost kind of killing yourself. Like, oh man, this is the exact same game. I didn't know that. Like, just, keep it on the down low. Don't tell people like, oh, Dragon Hunter Lancelot's coming out. Like, as a person on the outside, I don't fucking care.
Right.
Like, that is not a big deal to me.
Right. It's not like people who play one of the Sonic Dash games or whatever they're called now. It's not like they listen to a news source that specifically focus on that version of the game. Like someone who does like Sonic mobile game news is even though that specific niche isn't going to only report on like one of them, right?
Shout out to that guy, by the way.
I'm sure he exists out there.
You and your 5K subscribers are going somewhere, my guy.
Hey, keep Sonic alive.
In the mobile horse. Oh
um,
man.
that's really it though from me for the Sonic Central Direct. I think it was solid. I don't think it really needs to be compared to the Nintendo Direct. They both have a lot. They both had a lot of good stuff. I think gaming's just in a really good spot right now.
Yeah. I think honestly it
So
does pretty
can't wait.
well considering that one Nintendo has all these other IPs and Sonic is literally just himself and they made it like I you can't they're not like it's like apples and oranges, right? Like it's not exactly the same thing, but it still kind of has that same kind of like interest to be like to watch. I don't know. That's kind of like my thoughts on it.
Yeah, like similar audience, but there's definitely like something for everyone with all the gaming news that came out that week.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of something for everyone, I think this is a good time to transition into TCG.
Let's go. This is what we all
Um,
came for to shit on some TCG stuff because we have nothing but bad news.
you know, I think some of it is neutral news.
Mm, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's pretty balanced, David. I appreciate you trying to set the mood in a positive light.
So you know what? Just start on a positive light. The man. All right, I might. So start on a neutral light. The Pokemon TCG is giving away a code for the Pokemon TCG Online Live, and if you type it in, you get a free ultra rare Iono card.
Hey,
It is not the alternate art, but a free Iono nonetheless, which I think is one of the best supporter cards right now.
that's right. It's a viable card, and it's a full art in a digital game, but it's a full art for free. Like you
Yeah,
can
so
use that a million times in your deck that you're definitely gonna run it. Come on.
I think it'll stay relevant in this format. Well, before I go into this tangent, I will like give you all the code. You can also find it on Pokemon's Twitter, and I believe Cerebi and other like such sites, Pokemon news sites, have the code available. But it's NAIC 23 capital W lowercase HOSAWHATSIT. So NAIC is the national regionals for North America that are going on currently, and they're giving away this code just because. So put it in and get it.
I'm disappointed, David.
Free digital cardboard.
You're not giving our fans enough credit. You know Iono's iconic line, "Who's a what's it?" Come on, iconic. You know, you could have just
I
said
know
that they would have
Pokemon
been.
TCG players who don't play the video games, so
I know. There's probably not a very. There's probably not a super big overlap between competitive TCG Pokemon players who actually play the game. It's
I know
probably
some
much
people who
smaller.
only play Pokemon Go
Yeah.
who like has stopped playing the mainline games since Red and Blue. So I'm trying to make it easy for everyone out here. This is the neutral news show, not
Also,
the
can
good
I
news
just
show.
say that tagline awful, shitty as hell. Who's a
I
what's it?
assume I assume it's better in Japan, right?
I mean, it
Like
always
better in
is,
Japanese.
but you don't have to make it 1-to-1. They could have made it anything.
I
It
don't
just sounds
know.
like shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and it's even worse in for people who do play the games because there's no voice acting.
Oh yeah, but she'll have you under her control as you watch her streams. Quote her. But anyway,
Oh
um,
man. All
so
right,
there's
never mind. All of her quotes suck.
yeah, they're not.
Your
I don't
eyeballs are
understand why this is a
mine.
chase card. Like I understand why it's a chase card, but I don't understand why she is a chase card.
She is a very strong card in the TCG and Pokemon Company. I don't think it's bad that they have a VTuber like gym leader,
No, I think like
but
like that's free money on the table.
right, exactly. Like as a corporation, like that is wise.
Yes.
But I will say her card, and we're not going to get into like card market or anything on this episode, but uh, they were intentional about giving her a good effect.
Oh yeah. And to your point, I think she will be relevant for the entirety of Gen 9 series.
Yeah, and I don't know if we really want to get into TCG super in a like really in depth way, but I think it's interesting they're printing a lot of like comeback cards, like Iono and Reversal Energy. I thought were like really interesting things to have because you get their benefits when you're behind, you
Yeah.
know.
Which is always kind of, I mean, we can kind of like briefly talk about because like I feel like for the longest time, like decks that are like, oh, if you're losing, have always been kind of like looked down upon. Like, well, that sucks. Like if you're losing, you're losing.
Right.
So this is an interesting way they're kind of looking at how the meta will play out. Um, for those, kind of talk about us. Like we do play a little bit of Pokemon TCG. Um, I mean, I play a little bit. I feel like David plays a lot more than me, so he kind of knows about more of like the meta and stuff. But I just play my dumb Dialga deck, and I clap cheeks on there. So that's pretty much the extent of it.
Hey, do what you do. Your off meta is better than my off meta. Hisuian Zorag. Hoping you get an EX.
Well, it won't be
We can't
Hisuian.
do this anymore. That's facts. That's facts.
Look, you're only getting stopped by one card.
Anyway,
Okay.
um, just on the Pokemon TCG hype train though, I do want to talk about 151.
Yeah, I think we should. It's kind of like the only thing people are talking about. We literally walked to a card shop today, and a guy was yelling at us to open up Pokemon 151, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not paying $10 for a booster pack. So that's kind of the state of things right now. A Japanese, by the way, Japanese booster pack for
So
$10.
yeah, I don't collect Japanese cards firstly, but also for 151, there are a lot of very, very good cards that not like meta good, but like good as from a collector standpoint. Like amazing art even on like the commons and rares.
Mhm.
But I'm not looking to really pull anything from the set.
It's, I think, what makes it the appeal to me is that all of the cards, and I don't know if people aren't talking about this enough. Like all of these cards are the original arts from a different angle. They are all the Pokemon are in the exact same setting from their original art, just taken a different, obviously a different artist, but like
From base set, you mean?
yeah, all the base set cards, all the cards from the base set first of all, but all of their art is like this is the base set card brought into the modern era, which is a really really cool idea in my opinion. Um, I think it makes every card kind of like worthwhile. Like, oh man, like I remember if you played back then, like you had the Poliwhirl card for example, and it's Poliwhirl on a pretty static image, like a stock art with like this like torrential background, like generic JPEG. But what they did, and I will use him as an example because he got a full art. But the full art is the background is a rainy city, from an up angle look at the ground, and it's a super beautiful card. But like it is inspired by the original art, um,
Right.
the same energy and stuff like that. Every card has that basically. I would say except maybe I don't know the full arts that kind of just like have to be a certain format, but like great cards. I feel like they did a really good job. And that's kind of why I'm kind of like attentive to it and why I kind of want to pull for 151. But that's not why everyone's pulling for a 151. We all know why people are pulling for 151 because Charizard's in that shit. You know,
Hey, hold up. Charizard and Erica.
hey, Erica, the OG waifu. Sorry,
Yeah,
Misty.
the original. Yeah, sit down.
Sit your ass down. Who are you? What are you, 10? Erica's where it's at.
Yeah, but to your point, I do love this idea of having the cards be like reimagined and modernized takes of the original card arts, because some of them are like, if you look at the original card arts, some Pokemon are just in some void colored background, and they gave that color some life, and the characters obviously are drawn in a more standardized but very artistic style that stands out a lot more. Like a card that comes to mind is 151 Jolteon, which is the original was just Jolteon standing with this like yellow and white background, and they made that to be like a bunch of different frequencies of electricity. I think it's a beautiful card. Definitely one that I'd like to get, but not one I'm gonna like die for or anything.
Yeah.
And I guess another good example is like OG Machop, who's just standing on some rock in the middle of nowhere in the base set art, and now he's at like the edge of a cliff flexing. I was like, okay, this is raw.
Yeah, like dude, they did a really good job on the art. And so I think that kind of segues into why like to your point of why you're not going to go for this set. Because of course, being a company like Pokemon, money at the end of the day is how we pay the bills. They made us to figure out a way to make all these essentially penny cards worth money, um, with the fucking Master Ball reverse hollow shit.
Hmm.
Um, so for those who don't know, when you buy a booster box, usually, you get like I don't know the exact odds, but like usually you're like guaranteed to get like a couple of chases, some full arts, you're gonna get some hollows obviously, but like they're a guaranteed stuff to pull for. In these booster boxes, you are usually guaranteed one card that has the Master Ball reverse hollow effect, which is just a normal reverse hollow, but instead of the Pokeballs, they're Master Balls. It looks no different, except your Pokeballs have two little circles on the top, essentially. But
Hey,
because of
letter
how
M.
rare it is,
The letter M.
suddenly your 10-cent card is like I'm looking at my shop right now is $12. Um, but like, and some certain cards are going from like your 10-cent card is now a $50 card, um, which has been interesting for collectors and create a whole bunch of fucking problems. Which makes it kind of like, which is also like rose in the price of the booster boxes and the packs themselves. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not big on, even if the reverse hollows, like there are those the judge cards or like the promo stamp cards and such. I've never been big on collecting any of those, so I'm very fortunate. Hey, shout out to anyone who does do that. I'm more excited to see what from this set affects the competitive format. And a card that I have my eye on for multiple reasons, Erica's Invitation, I think is really interesting and could be used in some control style decks or even some very aggressive decks. So, for those who don't know, it's a supporter card where you look at your opponent's hand and put a basic Pokemon in their hand onto the bench, and then you switch that Pokemon with their active Pokemon. I think this can just straight up steal games from people and mess up other people's setup. There could even be some shenanigans with stadium cards that affect bench size and such. So I'm really interested in like what that will do. I don't recall any of the EX cards being like super strong. I know like Arbok and Ninetales are fairly weak cards, but yeah, just really excited for some of the supporters and item cards coming in this set.
I haven't looked too much into the set as far as like the games because usually for that aspect I wait until the English cards come out. Probably shouldn't, but I also know that like translations always get messed up all the time.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's a
it,
good point.
I mean, but I think being on top of these things, like for instance, like we're getting like being able to manipulate somebody else's hand is something we've kind of not been able to do for at least on a big scale for a while. So it'd be nice to have more support like that. So it's cool that we're getting things like that now so early. Um, like obviously like we have a couple now, but like that card seems pretty powerful, like you said, to kind of like, oh, I'm literally boss ordering you right now, but like from your fucking hand, like
Yeah.
super crazy. Um, I don't really know where to go from that, but I
Well,
think there,
I was gonna say, I know you've seen the Alakazam EX that can
yeah,
attack from.
attack from the bench, yeah.
I think that's really interesting. I don't think Psychic needs more options, but Psychic's getting more options. Um,
I think Psychic is just going to be forever the like just a safe bet. Just
right.
because also it's not really fair. It's one of those types in TC in this in TCG, like it encapsulates a bunch of different types who do different things.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I play a psychic deck, but you could play a ghost archetype psychic deck or a psychic type one or a fairy one now, you know, and usually they all kind of have their own like gimmick of what to do, but it's kind of hard to like to have the support for all of that, which within one energy card is kind of like ridiculous.
Right. Right.
And some types
Yeah.
don't get that, like fire.
Yeah. Fire just discards energy, but I will just to give a more positive spin on this set. I do think this would be a really good set, and I wish Pokemon Company did like draft style tournaments because there are a lot of just cards that have really fun effects in this set. Like one of them that I don't think people will actually play seriously is the Chansey from 151. So it has the ability where if you took this Pokemon as a face down prize card and your bench isn't full, before you put it into your hand, you may put it on your bench and flip a coin. If heads, take one more prize.
What the? Oh my
And it has super cute art. I think it's a super collectible card. I really like Chansey. And there's just a lot of fun cards that are like basically coin flip mons, which people tend to not run in competitive. But I think another fun one you might like this, Steven, is the Tentacruel. I don't think coin flip decks will do well unless they get a stadium that supports them. But the Tentacool has a 3 energy attack, 1 water, 2 colorless. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 90 for each tails. If the first flip is tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused.
what the dude? They are okay. So I'll be completely honest. I know I said I didn't look at anything, but I think partial reason why I didn't look at anything is because uh, you know, the Go set kind of jaded me that I thought these kind of subsets would get like no actual like good cards. And maybe that's the case here, just not really any good cards, quote unquote. But like some of these effects are just like, yeah, this could be cracked, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
because that's really interesting. Like, one, the fact that you're counting tails instead of heads, I feel like that's just like, it's a small thing, but like they usually don't do that. Um,
yeah. Usually it's just like if tails attack does nothing.
yeah, so it's, I don't know, man. Like, I think to your point that, I think to also kind of add to now they're going to print, they're going to overprint this set, obviously. So people are going to have these cards. Um,
Right.
these might not be cards that you will see, like you won't see an all 151 set, obviously. But a lot of these cards
Like a
can
deck.
find, what's up?
You mean like a deck?
Well, you know, like it won't be like it won't be a majority of 151 cards, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I think a lot of these cards could serve a lot of purposes across the board for, you know, niche stuff, like you're saying. Um, so this will be, you know, you kind of got me sold. I mean, because I'm gonna buy some of this product when it comes to the West, so I can actually play the cards legally. But um, that's, I mean, all good signs. At least it'll be nice to look at too. I feel. I look at it from more of a collector's aspect of things, but like as far as like a gameplay thing, like that is exciting and good to hear that these aren't just cards that are being sold um, for a profit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, overall a good set. We don't really have to go into the Mew promo sunset alternate art or whatever. I think it's a beautiful card though, and if you do get it, sleeve that bad boy up. I think it will be worthwhile in the future. I don't think it will be a super competitive card. I do like its ability. Uh, Once during your turn, you may draw cards, so you have three in your hands. I think it will see use, but psychic decks are already so fast without it that it would only add on to that power. But I think it's just a beautiful card to have in your binder for sure.
I do too. I'm not a big fan of the English version being locked behind a $120 paywall.
Oh yeah, yeah. Imagine trying to get a playset of that for like a psychic deck in the future.
Yeah, I must buy four of these boxes now. Well, I guess if you were banking on that, like I guess I can, I guess you get, 48 fucking booster boxes or booster packs,
That's a hell, man. I could never justify that. I mean, hey, some of you out there, maybe you can.
but not us.
Like that, I would say that art is nice, but not that nice.
I don't know, man. Like the premium collections are, it's weird because like, I know they're gonna print a whole bunch of them, so the price is gonna go down. Um, but it is a big ask for people to be like, yeah, I'm buying this and I get a play mat and I get a bunch of booster packs, but like, do you really need all this extra stuff? Like, probably not. Um, it is nice that it's just 151 booster packs. So as a new product, it's nice. Like, if I want a bunch of the product, I can get that. Since we're not getting booster boxes of this set, but it's still $120 for 16 booster packs, a promo card, some dice and stuff. Which I guess if you like the color pink, this is for you. Um, but it's not. I feel like these collect. I didn't get the Charizard one, obviously, but like, I feel like these are like asking for a lot. And then to lock away a card behind it is just like, well, you got to get it now, right? As a collector. But I will not. I will wait for it to go on sale for $20. Damaged and then play it.
Just I guess this is the last things. I think you'll really like this. Um, there's a couple of cards I want to talk to you about. We can talk about later, maybe in the next episode or maybe off the show. But the wheezing from this set, I think, is just really funny. And if he finds his way into a deck, I think that'd just be awesome. But its abilities explode together. If this Pokemon's in the active spot is knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, flip a coin. If heads, the attacking Pokemon is knocked out. So they're totally just having fun with this set with like really strong coin flip effects. And I think someone is going to find a way to use them or maybe tech these in.
I mean, if we get
Weezing
it,
is a dark type.
yeah.
So someone who really hates Gardevoir deck might run this.
I mean, look, all I'm saying is that if we get a Victini in this set at all, I can see a lot of these coin flippers actually being usable. Or what's the one? The Lucky Gambler.
Yeah, Lucky Gambler or what was it from Gen 8, Glimwood Forest or something where you can redo coin flips?
Yeah.
Stadium?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get some type of support like that, and like 2 years down the line, this car will come back up and be like a threat because it's a single prize that can just murk you because you weren't paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah, super excited for 151. That's for sure.
Yeah. Um, you know, it's kind of funny that we're looking right over Obsidian Flames, but I, at this point in time, don't really care about that set. So
I will wait to talk about Obsidian Flames because even Pokemon Company has kind of looked over it. They
yeah,
put all their energy in advertising the 151. We have very little information about Obsidian Flame, and I'm okay with that. We can talk about it another time.
yeah, I agree. So I guess the last thing, um, I'm thinking is last thing. Um, the This is actually kind of breaking news. This happened today while we were out and about, but someone pulled the Magic the Gathering One Ring card,
Yeah,
and it's already been graded. Which, first of all, fuck you. There's a waiting line for grading, and this card, I guess, gets like VIP treatment. It should, but it did.
yeah. PSA sent the images out.
Yeah, immediately. I was like, what the fuck? Is grading really this fast? Hmm.
Yeah, and I will say that there was just so much hype around this, and it was like I won't say it made like international news, but a card if the card sells for what people are saying it will, which right now it's estimated going to sell for 2 million because I believe that's what one of the card shops value put it at.
Yeah.
Who is trying to buy it?
Well, the
This
story.
this will be the largest sale, right?
Yes. Well, at 2 million, yes, I believe so. Because my only knowledge about these sales is mostly in Pokemon. I think the most expensive Pokemon card max sold for like 1.1 million. So, you know, um, really crazy. Um, I I am kind of pissed that some kid didn't just find it and ground it up, but that's
Yeah,
that's
everyone was
fine.
hoping for that.
I mean, that would have been like the best way to end this idea that we could just, oh, I'm sorry. Um, I am mistaken. That is still not the most expensive card. Illustrator Pikachu is still holding that, like well and
So
beyond
true.
actually. But we at $6 million.
Jesus.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's generational wealth right there.
that's right. Continues to gain. I honestly like not to jump too far away, but I would be pissed if someone I knew, like a family member, had $6 million and they bought this fucking piece of cardboard. I would be so mad.
Yeah, I think when it gets to a certain card value, it's past sentimental. That's like you need help.
Exactly.
That value probably varies for everyone, but I think most people's threshold is not 6 million.
Wait. Yeah, it just can't be, right? Because it's like, yeah, this is a very cool card for sure, but I guess the only case is I guess here, right? Because the only thing you can make an argument is here because like it's one of one. They're not gonna make another one. Um, which I think it's really funny, by the way, that I got a 9. Like,
Yeah.
what's the fucking like? This is the Tyler the Great card again, right? Where it's like,
Right, Tyler the Great Warrior.
yeah, it's like, what am I comparing this to? Didn't I get like a 7?
Yeah,
Graded,
I got a 7.
yeah, graded low. I'm just like you could see centuries. Well, like, if you got a 9, like, just give it the fucking 10. You know?
So, well, I guess there'd be some controversy in like the collector space then, right? Like if they just gave it a 10,
Well,
because remember their ratings based on like the centering, overall condition.
but David, who if you're at a 9, who's gonna see it in person? Like 10 people.
I mean that's fair, but some people could probably, and I won't say it's Wizards of the Coast fault or anything, but them releasing the official art of it online kind of gives people something to compare, like what it could look like.
Yeah,
So if it really needed to be compared to like, oh, how does this compare to the official digital art? That would be the only thing they could really compare it to.
yeah.
So I don't know. I think it getting a 9 is fine. I think it's kind of difficult to give a 1 of 1 a 10 without that being controversial. But I do think that if it got a 10, um, I think a lot more hell would break loose that someone found it. Something tells me that the person who was smart to stay anonymous probably will not be selling this in a public manner.
No. I mean, there's like horror stories of like when people win the lottery and they put their name out, like they've been attacked by family members and shit, and
Right.
it's always kind of been a whole thing. So hold on, okay.
Not to say that PSA graded this slightly lower for this person's protection, but I will say that with all the controversy going on, that we'll definitely tackle on a future episode with the grading scene currently. I think it was good that they were quote unquote strict with this grading.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I'm oh shoot, sorry. I'm hopeful that like so it says 2. Is it valued at 2 million? Is that
No,
the
so that's the current bounty for it.
okay?
There's no assessed value as it's the only one that exists and it was just found. I think the person who got it, just based on the report saying it's someone who knew its value and immediately sleeved it and sent it in for grading. I think this person will likely wait for better options because there's going to be people out there who just want to own it or resell it,
Yeah, I think
and that could go
there's
on endlessly.
this is going. I think it's going to be an ongoing story. Because if you just flip it now, like you're only going to regret it. Like I feel like where we're in right now as far as like card collecting is like an this era, I guess, where the hype is, at its highest. Like you would be remiss to just go ahead and just get the 2 million and walk away from it. Like no, just let this hype build because there's no way you're going to go down from it, right? You know, like it's not. There's precedents. People have bought cardboard for you know 1 million. And I will just correct myself real quick. The Pikachu Hollow Illustrator, um, I think at most has sold for 570,000 dollars. So it is valued at 1 million, but no one has actually bought it at 1 million. So this card, if it did sell for $1 million, would be yes the most expensive sell as far that I know of. But that being said, you know, if Joe Schmo, whoever he is, waits a little bit, people are going to bid against each other for an item that's not even on the market yet for this, right? Because there's only one. Um, but can I be real with you for a minute?
What's up?
I think the art sucks.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah, looks boring as shit. Um,
It is strictly the exclusivity of it.
yes, but I think it's disappointing because like I guess you have to see it in person to kind of see what the hollow and everything, but I feel like they didn't do anything with this one of one card. Like they didn't do any like super crazy like, oh, it's got this ridiculous like you how can we push card stock even further beyond? You know,
And that's a really good point because I was going to ask you, do you think other trading card game companies are going to try and pull this exclusivity stunt, this one
if
of one stunt?
if we got a chance to look at sales for Tales of Middle Earth and we see that they are astronomically higher because of this, I would be super dumb to say no. Like I think, and obviously the next one we're going to see, the next one we're going to see is either a our low key hobo game Final Fantasy or Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, because Magic's already kind of like, fuck, we're gonna do it, and it's worked because people are talking about it. So we're definitely gonna see some other companies trying to shit regardless. But you know, um, it's just a question of who. Um,
Yep. I suspect, and not trying to come to Pokemon, but I suspect Pokemon will do something like this sometime soon. Pokemon's kind of a really easy market to manipulate. Like if you're the printer of your own cards, just because the exclusivity and the chase behind things has really been what sold a lot of cards. Like some sets don't even have like high end artists and such with their art in it, but because the set was like printed low, like Aquapolis or something, it holds insane value.
yeah,
So imagine a one of one like Charizard, like Ash's Charizard card or something.
but here's the deal. Like, so there's a couple of things why I think Pokemon's kind of a weird, and maybe even Yu-Gi-Oh too. Um, but Yu-Gi-Oh's like Konami's like a money grubbing company, so I can see them doing it. My thing, like with Pokemon, would it be a Japanese card or an English
Mm,
card?
good point.
So
I definitely think it'd be Japanese.
I think so too. Like it would be. I think that would be like super like weird if a Japanese-based company was like, yeah, we're gonna make an English a one of one. Like that would look a little bit more scummy than like we're gonna do a one of one, for the culture.
Wait, imagine. So that's actually a really good point to think about. I assume there's not a version of the ring, the One Ring, in other territories, right?
I don't think so. I think it's literally just a one print card.
Yeah, that's I get so Magic the Gathering is not as popular in the East, but I wonder.
I still think they can do it. Like, there's nothing stopping you from just doing that and then just placing it as like you do a one of one per region or something along those lines. But exclusively a one of one, I mean, I guess you still could do it because it's a global market. You could auction off anybody. It would be unfair because like, oh, I have to buy this uh country's like product to get the one of one, but people would do it. People are doing that now for not one of one shit. So
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can't say anything about it in other countries, so that's just it. The hunt is over.
hmm, hmm, I found them. That being said, like you say Ash is Charizard, and I do think there's an argument, but I think for a one of one, I know TCG is like Charizard's Pikachu, but like I would think it would be Pikachu would be the one of one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I haven't really put too much thought into it, but just speculating, it will be one of the OG Pokemon for sure.
Oh yeah.
So Pikachu, Mew, Mewtwo, Charizard, like one of those
Nah, dude,
likely.
Binacle is getting the one of one.
I think. Pokemon fans would sooner riot than allow Binacle to have any type of exclusivity spot,
Could
let
you
alone get a
imagine?
slot in a set.
Imagine the headlines.
Pokemon players
Thousands,
raid. Yeah.
thousands raid Game Freak for making Binacle the one of one card. Meanwhile, a small child finds Binacle and tears him in half.
Yeah, that's the one they'd actually release out to a child to have.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, like that's a whole other thing. Like what if it was never released out to like I guess the general public where they would like it was like the pack that it was in could not be sold at Target. It had to be distributed to it.
So wasn't so and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the pack the ring was pulled from, wasn't it from a exclusive card pack? Like a $50 like promo pack or something for the set?
Did it have to be? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm saying that's it was yeah, it was pulled from a collector booster pack that's $50.
Oh, like
So
just off
like
store shelves. We had to order it.
yeah, so some people were saying that this was their way of making sure the average like player or average kid didn't really get their hands on it because it was in like a $50 booster pack or booster box of some sort.
Mm.
So this would basically make sure that it was like only a collector or a player.
Hmm.
I don't know, like if you think that's still like somewhat scummy or not, but
I mean, because if it just flopped and was never, I mean, I don't know. Either way, like if it got found by a kid and ripped, like just pocket it and then just forgotten about, I think then the hunt would have kept going because we would never know if it was found or not.
right.
So for them to do that intentionally to make it like a car that had to be graded, I mean, they don't like. Hmm. Do I think that's scummy? That's kind of like I don't know. I think that's like kind of like that's hard to answer now I think about it because like in one way, no matter what they did, they're gonna make more sales. I think long term they're making more sales if they do it this way. So in that sense, it probably was intended to be in a collector's box, and that's kind of scummy. But even if it was found by someone and not reported, people would have bought the shit out of the set because we know for a fact now that the ring's been found. Like a hella people are just like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Fuck this.
Mhm.
I got enough Middle Earth bulk for my entire house. I don't need to build anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hmm.
Yeah, just my closing thoughts on it. It's awesome it was found. Uh, I didn't mind that it was found, but from a collector, a kid, whatever. The hypothetical alternate timeline where a kid did find it would be cool, but someone finding it and having it graded, it's definitely something that'll go down in trading card game history. So
Just as intended. So, I don't know. Like, yeah. Uh, at least I can stop hearing about it. I don't play Magic the Gathering, so when I hear more about it, it's like, cool. Um, yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad you guys are having fun. I'm not gonna make any insults. Not on the first episode.
yeah, yeah, I'll continue to play your more fun formats and not worry about controversial Lord of the Rings sets. Enjoy.
Fuck. Wait, I do have one thing about the ring though. What did it do? What does the card even fucking say?
The card effect, because apparently there's a normal printing of it.
Oh,
Like you can get the card, like, but that art of it, there's only a one of one.
I see. Well,
And the normal ring art, I think, is like 60 something. But it's a mythic card, so it's assuming it's pretty decent.
okay.
So it's indestructible artifact, 4 mana cost. When the One Ring enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn.
Oh,
At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life for each bird encounter on the ring. And then when you suspend this card or tap this card for actual Magic players, put a bird encounter on the One Ring, then draw a card for each bird encounter on the ring. So you can
well,
get card advantage and protection. Um, when you cast the ring. So
That all sounds good and fun. I will be sure to bring the slab to my next Magic match. I draw.
remember in Magic, there's only 20 life, so
Yeah,
potentially could like end your game on yourself or like not draw what you need. But I'm sure people will use this. Um, I don't know if it'll be used in a competitive format, but I could see it used in like Commander. I'm sure there's some cards that synergize well with this. Not super big on Magic. And also, just a side note, I think all the lands in the set look like crap. But please
all
don't
the
kill
what?
me. All the lands, the mana types,
Yeah,
the energy system for Magic, yeah, they no bueno.
fuck. Well, damn. Game's bland.
That's really it.
Yeah.
That's really it because the set that the ring comes in, a lot of the cards aren't like super value anyway. So the hunt's over, but I'm sure Lord of the Rings fans will still want to collect this set, which will keep the sales up for a little bit longer. That's really it. The ring hunt is over. The TCG hype is over. Probably won't have a good news cycle of Magic the Gathering stuff that isn't Wizard of the Coast killing their own game for a couple more days.
Shit. Well, at least that gives us time to talk about not. Well, all I'm saying is I'm getting out of jail free to not to talk about Magic the Gathering for a very long time, which I'm all for. Whew. Good thing we started in the first episode and the end of that series. I had nothing to add to this.
All good. But I think that's it from me.
I think that'll do
Um,
it. We're a little over from what we expected to be. So yeah, a little inside scoop. This is supposed to be an hour, so you know
dude.
we knocked that out. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for the first episode. You know, Black City Pod. Don't forget it. We'll be back with definitely more news. Just about stuff in general. But I'm trying to think what we can expect for next week. There you go.
Well, we'll definitely have something Pokemon related to talk about for sure.
Oh yeah.
I do want to talk about some more obscure TCGs next episode, but maybe even some like real life news, like that smoke in Canada, which I
Oh
think is
yeah.
kind of funny now because the ring was found in Toronto. So
Hey, no way
it,
Toronto was packing that heat the whole time and nobody knew.
that's kind of funny. But yeah, like we'll definitely talk about some general like gaming news. I definitely want to talk about some Digimon and Pokemon. And if people have suggestions, please put them in the comments or shoot us a message, and we will see if that we're interested in that.
Yep. We will take your recommendations. It does not mean we're taking all of them, but we appreciate it nonetheless. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to keep things pretty broad for sure. So if there's a topic you think like, oh, there's no way they're going to talk about fucking the Mega Man Battle Network trading card game. Well, guess what? I just finished watching the first 5 episodes of the first season for free, by the way, on YouTube. So trust me, I'm about it.
I also have all of the starter decks.
Yeah, that's the kind of people you're dealing with here. Some pigeons.
I don't think I opened the boosters I had for it either, but I do. I have every starter deck from the game. If
That's
we ever
crazy.
wanted to get into that or like just try it or something, so
Yeah.
if people are interested in like obscure TCGs, like definitely let us know, or even obscure games. Would love
Oh.
to talk about, or even just be able to say, "Yeah, I tried this and it sucks," or maybe I tried this and it's good.
You never know. Alrighty, folks. This is Black City Pod uh, leaving. We'll catch you next week. I think those clips aren't working.
It's okay
Oh
as
man.
long as you hear them.
Good night, everybody.